When the world we know today was created 800 years ago, one of the first 20 sovereigns was Saint Imu of House Narona. What is up, Twitchlets? My name is Mr. Twitchy, back again with another One Piece reaction video for the manga, this time at chapter 1086, the last one before Oda's extended hiatus. If you haven't heard, he is having surgery on his eyes to remove astigmatism. I have slight astigmatism myself, so I very much feel his pain in that regard. I can't imagine what it's like as a mangaka, especially when it gets to the point where you require surgery for it. Thankfully, mine's not too bad. But last chapter, wow. Imu had a conversation with King Cobra. Sabo was in the room, and then after they had a conversation about D-Lily Nefertari, Imu decides to attack King Cobra and kill him. Sabo narrowly avoids it. Fire punch right to Imu's face. Imu chomps down on it, and all of a sudden, Imu and the 5 Elder Stars, they are now shadows or silhouette forms. I don't know what's going on with that. I wish we would have got at least one of them in terms of the design-wise, but I did see the title for this chapter. I think the 5 Elder Stars, so hopefully we get something in this one. Alright, so without any further delay, guys, before we start the chapter, just make sure that you subscribe for upcoming One Piece content. Also, Oshinoko and Dr. Stone, I'm probably going to get back into that. Like the video if you enjoy, and that being said, let's start right about now. Wow, this is beautiful. Happy Pride Month to those who celebrate. The rainbow in the background. I especially love the distortion on the reflections in the puddle. Really cool. No rain, no rainbow. That's a pretty good mentality to have. And so the curtains drew close on the reverie before the news of King Cobra's murder came to light. The fallout from the reverie? Chapter 1086, The 5 Elder Planets. Oh god, I didn't read that far. The Princess Vivi of Alabasta. Hasn't anyone seen her? Where is the king? Has his condition worsened? Hell is flying in the air. All the while, a number of stowaways held their breath as they attempted to escape on various royal vessels. Hey, whose ship is this? Thinks Wapol. The Aegis Kingdoms. We're on Aegis' ship, Morgan's. Okay, so they got on it by accident? I thought it was maybe on purpose, but I guess not. Gotcha. We'll fly our headquarters over and pretend to look for a scoop. Use that chance to hop aboard. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Is the Aegis Kingdom the punch guy? I can't remember. Use that chance to hop aboard and don't get yourselves caught before then. I owe you one. You got that right. A king somehow became the subject of a manhunt. This is big news! I can't wait to hear all about it. So, what exactly did you see in there, Wapol? Like I tell you! Leave me alone and go back to your own ship. I can't. CP0 is no joke. Now that they're after me, it won't matter how much everyone tries to help. Those agents won't rest till I'm back in their custody. Thanks, Vivi. Now let me borrow your transponder, Snail. I need to talk to my father as soon as possible. He's a total worrywart. Anything but that. Get lost already. What's wrong with you? Given the mast on the ship, I'm pretty sure that is the King Punch. CP0, that tall agent. They're looking for Sabo. They're looking for Vivi, sorry. Oh, this is how Bonnie got away too. Okay, so she stowed away on the Tangine Kingdom ship. And then on Lelugia's Kingdom ship, that's where Sabo is. If I can just make it to Lelugia, I know I can figure something out. Huff. I'm counting on you, Sabo-kun. You must live on. It didn't take long for the 2 key stories to spread across the globe. The murder of King Cobra of Alabasta and the disappearance of his daughter, Princess Vivi. The Holy Land of Marijois, the man they call Sabo. He seems to have a checkered fate. How else can you account for him constantly being surrounded by those who bear the letter D? Oh my goodness, is this going to be the conversation with Shanks and the Five Elders? I don't remember in the timeline when that occurred. Okay, so Imu's going to give him some instructions. I was hoping we would be able to see to the egghead issue now, but it seems that dealing with this complication will have to take priority. Pangaea Castle Flower Room. The time has come to put Vegapunk's invention to the test. Use the Mother Flame. The eternal power source? I thought he said that wasn't successful, if that's what this is. It is true, we haven't had the chance to try it out before now, so there is no way to ascertain its effectiveness yet. Depending on how well this experiment goes, Egghead may reconsider its response. I think a forest area would be a more suitable testing ground than a sea-based target. Lelugia Kingdom. Nani? Quite a lot of people live there, says one of the elders. That is of no consequence. Understood. The world moves at the will of the creator. What is the reason for Lelugia's selection? Its close proximity. It shall be as you say. I will make necessary preparations. I humbly request your patience in the meantime. Okay, looks like we're going to get all the names of the five elders. This is cool. Oh, we got their monikers as well. Five elder planets or stars. Defense Science Warrior God, Saint J. Garcia Saturn. Lelugia citizens have shown sparks of rebellion recently. Environmental Warrior God, Saint Marcus Mars. That's redundant. We may be able to make an example out of them. Justice Warrior God, Top Man Valkyrie. If we could one day use this power freely, Finance Warrior God, Ethan Baron V, or the Fifth, Nus Juro, that's a weird name, we could instantly snuff out any protracted conflict. Agriculture Warrior God, Shepherd Jupiter. Well, Jupiter's having some issues, let's just say, because the food storage facilities keep getting destroyed and all of their supply lines keep getting interrupted. So he might be the next one that we see after Saturn. One more thing, of course. Retrieve Vivi as you wish. So before I scroll down, that is an interesting request because it makes it seem as though Imu needs Vivi in some capacity. So she might actually be the true key that unlocks Uranus, or she might be Uranus itself. That's just kind of where my head's at the moment, but that's an interesting development. Meanwhile, the Kingdom of Tajin and the Aegis Kingdom are both rebelling. Between the disbanding of the Seven Warlords and the uprising in government-affiliated nations, the Navy has their hands full. However, deploy the Seraphim. Hey, here we go. Crocodile was spotted on Empty Bluffs Island. So we got Moria, Doflamingo, and Crocodile. Their military power had already gone in a new direction. The second we docked at Lelugia, the people arrested King Seki and Princess Komane. They were just waiting to ambush the royals. Since I was a stowaway, they welcomed me with open arms. That's when I saw the papers and found out that they had pinned King Cobra's murder on me. Unsurprisingly, the people there considered me a hero. I wanted to tell them the truth, but when I saw how that lie fanned the flames of rebellion within them, the words died in my mouth. Betty and the others had already inspired a lot of them, and I ended up bringing many of those hopeful recruits back with me. I couldn't make direct contact without an encryption snail, so I rerouted my call through the island we were setting sail. So essentially it's like a proxy call or like a VPN for transponder snails. I knew the government would intercept the signal, but doing it like that was sure to fool them into thinking I was still on Lelugia. However, I was just within range, having already set out to sea with our new enlistees. So the annihilation of Lelugia really did happen during that call. Everyone on board was hysterical. A lot of them had family on the island. They saw their country obliterated right in front of their eyes. Oh man. Despicable, says Dragon. How in the world did they do it? An enormous shadow seemed to engulf the sky above us, and the next moment, everything was gone. An enormous shadow. There was no way it was caused by a living thing or some natural disaster. Something pitch black was flying above the clouds. Ooh, are we gonna get some Sky Island things? Because we can always say, for the most part, that Sky Islands, they are held up by the actual clouds themselves. But if there's an artificial Sky Island that is actually a weapon, that might make sense in terms of kind of what Dr. Vegapunk was thinking, since his home base is a Sky Island, or an artificial one. Sabo, earlier you said they used the name Emu. Right. This may be a little out there, but when the world we know was... Okay, so I think this is kind of like an accent, but it's... Bear with me. Then the world we know today was created 800 years ago. One of the first 20 sovereigns was Saint Emu of House Narona. Alright, that's all I can do with that. Now look at this. Since we know an ability granting eternal youth is said to exist, this must mean someone has used it before, right? Which means there's a person out there that doesn't need to worry about death. So, you think the one I saw is... It could just be a coincidence. Maybe they just share the same name, but... Could anyone else but a founder command the 5 elder planets, the highest of world nobles? The celestial dragons fancy themselves as the descendants of the gods after all. One more thing. Assuming the object you saw above the clouds was a weapon made by the government, then the only one capable of creating such a thing would be Vegapunk. Hold it, Iva. Vegapunk would never intentionally design a dedicated killing machine. I know. So what is it was an ancient weapon, assuming Emu has been living since ancient times. There is a connection. Robin told us that the ancient weapons do in fact exist. But if this person had such a weapon, why wait till now to use it? Alright, so Oda is directly, he's not confirming, but he is addressing in canon a lot of the speculation that has been done since that Sabo chapter where a nuke was dropped. Was it Uranus? Was it Emu's power? And why is there someone above the 5 elder stars that they listen to? They're either a god. Okay, so if they're a god, they might be immortal, or they're all powerful. So this weapon that Vegapunk created, it might have been commandeered by Emu for a different purpose than it initially was supposed to be used for. So lots of speculation here, and this is great as the last chapter before a month-long hiatus, because we're going to have so much to talk about. Is this actually the truth? Is this just untrue speculation? Is it somewhere in between? They say the best lies have a moniker of truth in it, so we'll see. Present day, the land of Marie-Joie, a celestial dragon has just been sentenced to death. Our food supply is gone. We have no bread. All we have is cake. However, this information will never be reported to the outside world. The judge was the former king of the land known as God Valley. He currently serves as the supreme commander of God's Knights. His name is Saint Garling Figerland. There is so much to process on this page. The man he sentenced to execution? None other than the one who chose to defend fishmen, Saint Don Quixote Mjosgard. Anyone who protects scum is lower than the scum they protect. A man who can even judge the celestial dragons? Break for 5 weeks. Read further for more information. Okay, so just as I was saying that Oda was confirming or at least addressing some of the speculation in the community, he brings up the Supreme Commander of God's Knights. And I don't know. It's looking... I want to say this is a misdirect in terms of Shanks not being a holy knight. I really like that theory for a number of reasons, but there's one particular cover story, like page, that shows Shanks and Mihawk attending a wedding, if I'm not mistaken. I might put it here, but you might have to comment down below if you want to know what chapter that is, because I don't remember what it is. But, wow, fantastic chapter. I'd probably give this about an 8. There's quite a bit of like reasonable continuation from the last chapter, which I just assume that's how it happened. The conversation between the 5 Elder Stars and Emu, man, they are really subservient to Emu. Although I will say that the, what's his name, Top Man Valkyrie, he did bring up the fact that Emu would be killing multiple civilians on Lugia by dropping that nuke on there. So he might be the weak link in terms of someone who might defect from the 5 elders. If I had to pick one, it's you with the mustache. 2 or 3 of them have facial hair, but you know what I mean. Alright guys, so I don't really have too much else to talk about here in the video, but if you'd like to discuss something with me down below, feel free to leave a comment. I will respond to any and all comments on this video. With that being said, I want to thank you guys for watching this far. Again, my name is Mr. Twitchy. I'll see you in the next video. See you later. Bye.